Like so many other brands, Volkswagen has been slowly transforming their portfolio to be mostly crossover heavy. However, if you ask any enthusiast what's the first model you think of when you think of a Volkswagen, the Jetta quickly comes to mind. Now for 2022, VW is making extensive updates to both the Jetta GLI and of course the regular Jetta. I'm at a studio just outside of Detroit. Let's take a first look. So the Volkswagen Jetta has always been the company's best-selling vehicle here in America. However, that all changed a couple of years ago when the Tiguan took the top spot, and now the Jetta is the company's third best-selling model. And with around 80,000 units sold last year, this is still a very important vehicle for VW. So as you can see, for 2022, I'll start, of course, with the regular Jetta. Now this one here is the top-of-the-line Jetta SEL. Volkswagen has kind of simplified the trim lineups. There's now 4 different trims available. I want to first show you guys the front-end styling because VW says they've made some extensive updates to the front, the rear, and updated the wheels. You can see the grille is slightly larger this year. It kind of accentuates the width of this car a little bit more. You have the same LED headlights. You actually have LEDs as standard. This SEL model has the upgraded projector LEDs with kind of like this C-shaped LED daytime running light and an incandescent turn signal. Volkswagen did remove the fog lights for 2022. However, they added these little accent LED running lights, and you can see the lower front lip is slightly different. This particular one here is a new shade of blue that looks particularly attractive. VW will also offer a new sport trim, which technically replaces the old R-Line trim. It's going to sit one notch above the base S, and it'll kind of black out a lot of the chrome bits. Now, because this is just a refresh, they didn't really change the overall silhouette and the dimensions of this car, although they did upgrade the wheels. Now, these are the 17-inch alloys that you get with the SEL. All Jettas will come with a 16-inch alloy as standard. You can see you have disc brakes in the front and disc brakes in the rear. The standard Jetta will continue to use an independent front suspension and a torsion beam suspension at the back. The rest of the profile you can see pretty much the same. The Jetta remains on the bigger end of the compact segment at around 185 inches long. You can kind of get a panoramic style sunroof. And of course, if you follow me over to the rear of the regular one here, you can see they've also slightly updated the back end. There's some new font, of course, for the Jetta that matches the new Volkswagen logo. You have these full LED taillights, which are standard. And then down here, you can see this new chrome strip that kind of outlines the rear diffuser area. And you have these hidden exhaust tips. Overall, it's still very Audi-like to me. Volkswagen did say that some of the other trims will black out some of the chrome pieces here with black pieces, which again will make this car look a little bit more sporty. Now let me show you guys the GLI model because this is kind of like the hidden gem in the Jetta family. That's what Volkswagen likes to call it. You can see the front end looks a lot more aggressive. We have that same larger grille with the new honeycomb intake openings with this chrome strip with the red line that goes between the two headlights. You have the same headlight modules in that SEL Premium that I showed you, and down here you can see instead of those LED lights you have these kind of vents back in the front. Although the vents actually aren't functional, I kind of wish VW had given us an LED accent light that kind of went around this red border here, or at least given us the fog lights. The fog lights, as you can see, have been removed, but overall it's a better looking sedan in my eyes. It definitely looks a little bit more aggressive. Now, of course, this one here has the black package, which Volkswagen has kind of simplified the GLI. Previously, you had a base and an Autobahn. Now all of them basically are Autobahn trims. And with the black package, you can see you get these black finish wheels. They're an 18-inch design. You also get the same brakes from the Mark 7 Golf R with the red calipers, which provide a really good stopping power and also look really good. The base wheels will have a slightly different design, and they're also kind of a two-tone machine finish. Now, with the black package, you get black mirrors, and you also have a black roof. And now for 2022, a sunroof is standard on GLI, which is definitely going to be appealing for those of you who prefer the sunroof option. And then, just like the regular Jetta, the overall length isn't different on the GLI, but when you follow me over to the rear here, you can see with the black package, you got this black rear spoiler, which looks good. And then along with the same taillights, the revised logo, and what I really like, however, are the new exhaust tips. You can see VW has done away with the fake exhaust tips that were connected to just the bumper. These are actually connected to the pipes, and they're a much larger diameter. VW says that the exhaust also has been tuned a little bit sportier this year for more deeper sound, which I'll show you guys that whenever I drive this new vehicle. And just like the 2021 model, the trunk size hasn't really changed. You still get one of the biggest trunks in the segment at around 14 cubic feet. Now on the inside, VW has also made some small updates to the Jetta this year. This particular one that I'm showing you is the GLI version. It only comes with this black interior with, of course, the red accents. There's also kind of like this red perforation on the inside, which really goes well with the King's red exterior. The seats themselves are slightly more aggressively bolstered, and you now get the leather seating as standard because all GLIs are Autobahn equipped models. Now, in terms of the technology, VW has also improved that. Their front assist and blind spot monitoring with their cross traffic alert is now standard across the board for every trim of the Jetta, even the base model. The GLIs will come standard with their IQ Drive, which means you get adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, traffic assist. All that comes standard, even with the manual transmission model. So you don't necessarily have to get an automatic to get adaptive cruise control, which is a really nice feature, especially in this segment. You also get this new steering wheel here that you're greeted with. This is the same new steering wheel that I tried in the new Volkswagen GTI. It has those touch-sensitive capacitive buttons here with like a slider here for the volume. And it also lights up, which is nice. The wheel itself is still a tilt and telescoping design, which is nice. And you have their new digital cockpit display. Now, the digital cockpit display is now standard across the board. 8 inches will be the standard size. This is the larger 10-inch display, which again makes it nice how it's a fully digital display. Over on the center stack here, you have their MIB3 infotainment system with wireless app connect. So you have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This is an 8-inch touchscreen, so it's not the larger 10-inch display that you get in the GTI, but it's all fairly well to use or easy to use, and you don't have to deal with like that floating tablet that you have to get in like the GTI, for example. The rest of the interior hasn't really changed. You still have the same soft touch materials here on the dash. Same thing with the door panel. This particular one here has the nice 6-speed manual. The throws are a little bit longer than what you're used to in something like a Honda Civic Si, but it's nice that VW continues to offer that. You have a wireless phone charging pad here with 2 USB-C dongles, and the GLI and regular Jetta is still available with heated and ventilated seats on the upper trim. So that's a pretty rare feature to find in the segment. Down here on the center console, you can see there's still a lot of empty buttons here that you probably don't get in America that they may offer in the European version. But this is probably where the interior reminds you of an economy car, but there are some nice touches in here, like this big center console, which is really well utilized, and this is nice padded armrest over here. Although this doesn't slide forward and adjust, that's always been a kind of a Volkswagen thing, but VW did make the interior appear slightly more upscale with different materials, this big roof, and some nice contrast stitching that really brightens up the GLI's cabin. Now, the back seat of the refreshed Jetta is also unchanged. You still get one of the bigger back seats in the segment at around 37.5 inches of legroom. There is a fairly large hump here that intrudes on the center passenger, and surprised to see there's no rear seat air vents back here. I was hoping that VW would consider adding that, but the seats have that same newer material with the red contrast and the red perforation. You have an armrest here that folds down and gives you 2 cup holders, and the materials are hard touch plastic back here, and there's no things like heated rear seats or even USB chargers. So I'm sad to see that VW didn't add that, but this is still one of the larger back seats in the segment. Now, I wanted to show you really quickly the standard Jetta, because this is the back seat of the SEL, and surprise, surprise, it does have 3-level heated rear seats, but no rear seat vents. I think Volkswagen should have probably just put this in the GLI, but my guess is for the performance-oriented model, they wanted to leave that feature out. Honestly, USB ports back here and vents are something they should have considered adding, but at least you do get the heated back seats in the standard Jetta. Now, under the hood of the refreshed Jetta, Volkswagen did actually update the base powertrain. The old one had a 1.4-liter turbo. This is now a slightly larger 1.5-liter unit. This is the same engine that also powers the new Taos, and it's also part of the EA211 engine family, but VW has updated the technology. It's slightly more efficient this year, and it's also more powerful. It makes 158 horsepower and the same 184 pound-feet of torque. That's an increase of about 11 horsepower compared to the old 1.4. Volkswagen is still going to claim this is going to get one of the best fuel economies in the segment, and it's going to give you better performance with the slightly increased power. Now, the beauty about the standard Jetta is you can get this car with a 6-speed manual still. That's something you can't say about most of the competition. VW will offer the stick in the base model, the base S, and the sport-oriented version. And for those of you who want an automatic, an 8-speed torque converter automatic will still be the standard transmission. All Jettas will continue to be front-wheel drive. However, if you guys go for the new sport, it will include their electronic differential system, which will allow this car to put the power down a little bit better and give it slightly better handling. Now, under the hood of the GLI, you can see things aren't really changed, but they didn't really need to be. This is the company's larger 2-liter turbocharged direct injection 4-cylinder, part of the EA888 engine family. Still makes 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. The GLI is also available with a standard 6-speed manual transmission. That's going to be the standard offering. It's something that enthusiasts are going to love. And you can also get the option of a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. So the regular Jetta will have a torque converter automatic. This will have a dual clutch. All GLIs will continue to be front-wheel drive as well. And Volkswagen doesn't have any fuel economy figures just yet, but it should be pretty similar to the 2021 model. And Volkswagen says they'll also tell us the curb weight figures as we get closer to the on-sale date, which will be November of this year. So although the Jetta is no longer Volkswagen's best-selling model, this is still a very important addition in their lineup as VW continues to migrate toward SUVs. This is now the entry-level model since VW is not going to be offering a standard Golf here in America when the Mark 8 generation comes out. The current Jetta is one of the company's best sellers because of its affordability. The old one started at around $19,000 for the base and around $27,000 for the GLI. I do not have final pricing just yet of the 2022 models, but I'm anticipating it's going to be a little bit more expensive with the additional safety, tech, more power under the hood, and more premium features that you get. Now, Volkswagen says this new Jetta will be going on sale in November of this year, and it should be still a really nice addition. As you guys know, in this segment, it competes with cars like the Toyota Corolla, the Honda Civic, the Mazda 3, the Hyundai Elantra, and Kia Forte. And although people continue to buy SUVs, there's still a lot to like about this particular segment. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full first look overview on the completely refreshed 2022 Volkswagen Jetta. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.